I don't know if this is pushing the conversation forward or if it's being redundant. Forgive me if it's being redundant, but like, how much of a differentiation do y'all think there is with like mental health and like just like lack of confidence? You know, so like if a person has a lack of confidence and that's why they're not performing, like is that a probable cause to say I have a mental health issue, or is it just like, bro, you're just not confident right now? Figure it out.
Yeah, I would put that all in the same basket. You know, anything in between the ears, that all goes into the same basket. And so, you know, there are different ways to gain confidence. There are different ways to deal with depression. There are different ways to deal with anxiety. There are resources out there for you to help you figure out how to deal with whatever your mental health issue is at the time, right? Books have been written on this. Though there's not one, books have been written on this, right? To be able to get there. There are people who this is all they do is work with high performing people, especially athletes, to help them get mentally ready. If you are not utilizing that, I'm sorry, I can't take, my mental health is not there, right? So, you know, that I'll just say, hey, you didn't use the resources.
Izzo, I don't know if this is a fair question to you, obviously forego it if it's not. But with you obviously being like stern on the fact that like, yo, ain't nobody got no jurisdiction to say whether or not a person is lying about their mental health. Can you fathom a scenario in your head that would make you personally question if a person is like using mental health as a scapegoat?
To not take a too critical approach to it, I would definitely say, because my perspective is so from an empathetic and an understanding one, that I don't feel like, I feel as though who am I to say that you're lying, or, you know, now if you are, I mean, that's a coward approach, but it's like there isn't a barometer to gauge whether or not somebody's mentally there or not. It literally comes down to, you got to take that athlete's word for it. That's just how it is. Cause it's like, we've had so many instances in the past where things could have been chalked up now post that situation, that, you know, one could have deemed like, man, if they maybe could have got a break, or maybe somebody could have talked to them, or maybe they needed to deplug, and, you know, maybe XYZ could have been prevented, because Lord forbid somebody goes and harms themselves or harms others because they're feeling mentally defeated, deflated, and or just, you know, mentally at war with themselves, or just their mental health is, you know, very. So to answer your question, I don't really foresee a situation right now that I would deem that somebody would be faking. But just playing devil's advocate here, just to kind of answer the question, if there ever was one, it could be called into question after.
It has happened.
After the Simone Biles situation, I think that would be like a perfect situation for it. But because of her stature and who she is and what she means, not only to the USA team, but just the Olympics period, and being one of the most decorated Olympians ever in the history of mankind, right? Like, I think she's earned the benefit of the doubt, to say the least, right? Like, Simone Biles isn't known to be a quitter. You don't get this far in life or even in your profession for being a quitter, or for that fact, being a liar, right? Like, who's to say that she isn't going through that? Because one could say, like, you know, she had the whole GOAT outfit ready. Like, she was ready at a certain point, but maybe something happened in between the lines, or traveling there, or just surveying the circumstances and just the environment of what she was around and engulfed in, that it just wasn't palatable for her moving forward. So, tough thing to say, man.
I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read an Instagram post again for just the listeners riding in their cars. And Darnell Holder thought that she was about to say it was already somebody who has that like kind of fake the whole mental health situation. Simone Biles on her Instagram one day ago before she decided to stop competing in the finals, posted on her Instagram. It wasn't an easy day or my best, but I got through it. I truly do feel like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders at times. I know I brush it off and make it seem like pressure doesn't affect me, but damn, sometimes it's hard. Ha 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 ha. The Olympics is no joke, but I'm happy my family was able to be with me. Virtually, they mean the world to me. And that was after she made that
Probably
post
wouldn't have put
after
the ha
prelims.
ha ha in there, low key. Cause I mean, I guess she's trying to make light of it even still with bringing it.
Trying to say like I'm not complaining, but I am, or like.
Yeah, but once to say that could be a cover up to like, hey, you know, people laugh to hide their pain, you know, so that could be a subtle cry for, hey guys, I'm mentally going through it. I don't feel like I got anybody to confide in to, you know, to kind of shed or share some of this burden with, and you know, hey, more power to her for taking that stance if she feel like she needs to step away.
Black Peace.
Yes, sir. I was just getting a little more detail on it. Name of the player, I believe, was Notre Dame linebacker, and the name was Monty Teo. And it's not the exact same thing, but it was just that same thing of personal situations. Like he said, his grandmother and his girlfriend died from cancer, and turned out not to be even exist. So it's like you said, it's one of the things where you're gonna have to roll the dice, but at the end of the day, everything always comes to light. So there has been a situation of that, and I think that's what makes people a little bit, a little bit like hesitant when people do say that. It's like, well, there's people out here making whole ex-girlfriends that died, that didn't even exist in the records, period. So it just people don't like to be fucked with the first time. People don't like it when people spoil it for everybody, because then everybody's on their toes. So I feel like that kind of made this situation just a little bit of unconsciously everybody's a little woke to it. They said, nah, you ain't getting fooled me once back in 2013. Nah, not again. You ain't about to fool me on some like, oh, you got some mental stuff going on, so we have to feel sympathetic. Feel like that, maybe if that didn't happen, a couple other events that were like, more on the integrity side, they may have been a little bit more sympathetic, but people fucked over the system before. So therefore, people just a little bit more on the edge. And they gonna be like, well, mental, we ain't seeing it, we ain't buying it.